Alrighty, hey, what the business is? This is Air Conditioner Shop Talk, and I'm your host, Zach Pasueto. That's spelled P-S-I-O-D. I don't remember how it's spelled. It's hard even for me to remember. Guys, hello to everybody out there in the chat. We have Sam, we have Tsa, we have Blue Air, we have Garrett, we have Mel, Clint, Nathaniel. Who else? We got the Frylock, we got the Kangaroo Guide, we got the Garrett Rush, we got all our familiar friends out there in air conditioner listening land who are spending their evenings talking about air conditioners. Their days working on them, their evenings talking about them. Or as our wives say, that's stupid. Well, wives are stupid. So, whatever. They like handbags and spend an hour in the bathroom. So, who's stupid now? The wives are. So, what's up, West? We have West Robertson in here as well. Guys, I will warn you, this is going to be a slightly abbreviated show because I'm expecting a phone call from my son at 10 p.m. So I want to finish a few minutes before that because he, with a lot of your help, because we did a fundraiser for him like a month ago, and we were raising money so he could go to the Citadel Success Camp. He went to the Citadel Success Camp, and he's been there for so he got there on Monday, so this is day 3. It was quite the adjustment for the young lad who's never been away from home by himself very long. He's always been with friends and people he knows, but being away with a bunch of people he has no idea who they are was quite an adjustment for him, and he was losing his mind for a little while, missing everybody, and he's like, oh man, this is tough, this is so tough. But I said to him, at first I was like, hey, I feel for you. And after he kept complaining, I was like, all right, let me tell you, being a man is going through these situations like this. Whenever you see people reflecting back, and before I get into that, let me just preface the story by saying my son has dedicated himself to pursuing a career in the military. He was, I guess he's not anymore. He was in high school. He graduated recently. He was the battalion commander for the JROTC, and he's looking to go through the ROTC program at the Citadel and graduate as a second lieutenant in the United States Army, which I think is fantastic. I think it's a great plan, and I think he'll go far in life, and he'll be well taken care of his whole life. But he's never been exposed to anything, no real adversity. That a lot of us, you go through a certain amount of years, you reach some sort of adversity, whether it be, hey, like somebody you lose like a close family member. A lot of us have gone through that. It's an adversity. Like I lost my sister last year. A lot of you guys have gone through stuff. Will lost his wife recently. It's unimaginable until you have to go through it and realize you can make it through it and keep on going. It is doable. But for my son, he's never faced a substantial challenge. And now that he's facing a substantial challenge because the school is rigorous, it's not like a college where you go and you have leisure time and you're hanging upside down with a beer bong. Everything is regimented all day long. And it's basically boot camp infused with college. And it was culture shock, even for the camp before the college. And he is taking classes at this camp, too. He's trying to get ahead. But it's culture shock, and it's just a reality check. And I had to talk to him. I said, hey, Andrew, this is what life is. A series of challenges where you either don't go through the challenge and you stay exactly where you are and you never go anywhere, or you face a challenge and you go past it and you learn that you can do it and you grow as a human man. I used to call him Man Boy because he's 6 foot tall. He weighed... No, he's not 200 pounds. He's like 180 pounds. So he's like a man-sized person. But he's still a boy at heart, and he's learning that. He's learning stuff. Garrett says a lot of his friends went to the Citadel. That's pretty cool. And let's see, he also said, I live 20 minutes from the Citadel. I can check it. You know what? It's funny because Garrett, that's awesome, by the way. So I'll keep that in mind if we ever have a situation where he just needs something. I'll reach out. But we have a couple of folks that are down there. In fact, for those of you who might have watched Skilled Trade Up before on this show, there was a guy named Chris Forsyth who always dressed like Santa Claus. It's legit. Watch the older shows. He's a trip, and I think he's fantastic. He lives in the area as well. There are several people in that area, which we're lucky to have. But really, this is on the boy, And so many of us can identify with this. And I'll tie this back into HVAC. Whenever you graduate trade school, if you go to trade school, I never did. I had a family business here, so I knew where I was heading if I so chose. And I made a decision after going to college for a year that I was going to go into the trade. So I spent a year in the college heading for nowhere because I didn't know what I was going to do. I made good grades in college. I just didn't have any idea what I wanted to do. So I went into the trades. And a lot of us, when you go into the trades for the first time, you are the low man on the totem pole, especially outside of a family business where no one knows who you are or cares who you are. You go into the trade and you're getting everybody's wrenches and handing it to them, and you're going to fetch tools that don't exist sometimes. You're getting roped and pulled into the porta potty and tied up, and not tied up in the porta potty. That sounded really weird, but tied up as far as the porta potty was tied up. It got really weird. It got like a 50 Shades of Grey tone to it right there, and I had to back off of it before anyone made any accusations. Oh, look, let's see. I see my orange down there. Thank you, by the way, for highlighting my name so I could see it, because I don't see well. So you're going to have to highlight my name by writing HVAC Shop Talk in the chat. It'll highlight it for me. Blue Air says, HVAC Shop Talk, I'm a retired 82nd Airborne paratrooper wishing your son a great military career. That's awesome, because those guys are pretty cool. 82nd Airborne is a renowned group there. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. But I think that a lot of us can sympathize with his situation, although it's not exactly the same. In life, you'll go through a series of situations where you enter a place where you have no idea who anybody is. They don't care who you are. You're the low man on the totem pole, and you have to work your way up. But as all of us know, for the most part, except for the youngest of us, you do get through that, and you move to the other side, and you can accomplish things and eventually grow in stature. Then all of a sudden, you're not fetching tools. You're getting your tools fetched. And it's not the point of it to have your tools fetched, but I'm just saying that you reach a point where the roles are reversed. You have a camaraderie that's been built over time, and it can't be replaced by anything else. And hopefully that's what your companies are like. I know all companies aren't like that, and I know it's not like that all the time either. But at least you know once you're in it for a certain period of time, you have the knowledge you need, the experience you need, that you can stand confidently with any other person in the trade. Even when they may excel in an area you don't excel in, at least you can be confident in the abilities that you've built, and you won't have to be low man on the totem pole, nervous and unsure of yourself, which is a hard place to be in, especially once you've exited a place where you were the highest rank in the whole thing. So you might have been valedictorian at trade school. I don't even know if that's a thing, but you guys know what I'm saying. If you spend a certain amount of time somewhere, you oftentimes have the opportunity to build up some repertoire with people, and all of a sudden it's all taken away from you. You have to start over again. It's very, very tough. Very, very tough. Garrett Rush's bucket of air. What's up, Raw? How's it going? Getting air samples with a trash bag. I like that. That's how they used to recover refrigerant. The recovery bag. Did you look it up? It's a real thing. The recovery bag. Bucket of steam. My father, he grew up working on a crew for a bridge builder because his family was in the bridge building business. He lived in Hickory, North Carolina at the time, and they built many of the bridges for, I don't know, maybe Highway 64. Those of you who are familiar with Highway 64, which crosses the state from Greenville, where ECU's at, all the way across the state to Salisbury and Hickory and on farther. I think it's US 64. And they would build these bridges, and when he was the new guy, they would have him fetch tools that didn't exist. And he told the story of the cat's, I think the cat claw or something like that, the cat's head or something like that. They said to go get the cat's head or the cat's claw. I forget what it was. It was a funny story, though. And he would run off and, go searching in the van, not even know what he's looking for. Figure, a cat's claw, it's got to be some kind of hook or something, right? There probably is a tool out there called the cat's claw. It's a bad example, probably. And then after a while, he got wise to it, and they're like, why don't you go get the cat's claw? And we go like, what size? And then he knows, and then it's over for that day. But you're still getting stuffed in the porta potty and getting thermostat wire tied around it. That happened to me, but that was my brother. That's different. You never grow out of that. That never goes away. Like the brothers always park the car in front of the porta potty door. That's never going away. That seniority sticks for life. For the most part. You can ask Jacob and Esau, I guess, but that seniority sticks for life. The cat claw is the baby crowbar. It might be. That would make perfect sense, really. That would make perfect sense. The closet stretcher Yeah, but they have the duck stretcher, which is funny because when I first heard the word duck stretcher years ago, I was like, that's not a real thing. But it is. It is a real thing. Although I do not remember ever using it, but it would have come in handy to be able to put those S-locks together. It would have come in real handy because I didn't believe it existed. And whenever I saw the tool hanging up that was finally declared to me as the duck stretcher, I was like, I could have used that many, many times. Many times. Steve says, I sent a new guy to get an 8-inch flex duck stretcher from another senior tech. See, that's funny. It is funny. You know what? You got to have a little bit of fun with people. And seriously, people had to be able to take a certain amount of this stuff. It's not like we have a society now, and I don't want to get off on like a different angle, but I feel like guys are all sensitive all the time. And if you sit back and just have a little fun and allow yourself to, go through this stuff and don't take it too seriously, then you can make it out and you'll be friends with these people eventually because they're not bad people because they made you go get a fake tool. It's just a joke, and people need to take a joke. People need to take a joke and shut up about it. That's what I'm saying. Garrett Russ says, yeah, I thought my professor was messing with me with the duck stretcher. I should have got a picture of the duck stretcher if I would have been clairvoyant, I guess. If I was Madame Cleo, I could have had a picture of the duck stretcher and we would have been good to go. But I'm not Madame Cleo. Not even Jamaican, although I do a mean, it's the cat's paw. I don't think it was a cat's, I think it was like cat's claw. It could have been cat's paw, RJ. I can't remember what it was, but it was the fake tool. It's just a fake tool. I see my orange again there. Blue Air HVAC says, took a torn meniscus for me to realize my employer only cared about his bottom line. That is why I went out on my own. If I'm going to risk injury, it might as well be for my account. I mean, I think a lot of guys probably think like that because no one cares as much about what you're doing as you do, supposedly. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. The work you put out, you're supposed to be very proud of it. You're supposed to be guarded over it. You're supposed to care about it. You're supposed to care what happens, what kind of product you put out. It's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not always like that. Family business is a little weird because we have a natural bond that is just innate, that you're naturally going to protect each other and that everyone else is an outsider, even though they say that's not the case. It is still the case. It's still the case because it's built into you. It's part of who we are as humans. You have a natural bond to other family members. You've been with these people, and either innate or you've been with them since your birth. It's hard to see anyone else's family, especially in a business that's from the outside. It's only been there for 6 months or 3 weeks or something like that. That's why it's weird, I think, working for a family business sometimes as a non-family member, because you feel like you're never going to make it where the other guys just are naturally going to be ushered up the ladder, because it's almost like you have a king at the top, which is the father, grandfather, whatever, and then you have a natural succession of other family members, and you guys on the outside, you might make it to crew leader, you might make it to this or that, but you're never going to make it to the top, or as far as those other guys will make it. And that's what I'm laughing at the comments down here. The cat's paw is real, the baby crowbar. Okay, the cat's paw is real, but there's a name for it, and I don't want to be legalistic about it. I don't remember the exact name, but my father, I want to go with cat's claw. I'm going to go with cat's claw. Okay. Jerry Lockhart's right. Family does work for free sometime. Okay, with family business, there are certain things that are perks and certain things that are not perks. The perks are just what I explained to you guys. You have succession that's going to take place unless someone really screws it up. I mean, you got to want to screw it up or just not want to be part of it whatsoever to not take advantage of that succession. In my mind, I'm sure there's exceptions to the rule, but vice versa. Jerry Lockhart says family works for free. Yes, absolutely. And I'll give you an example of this. It's not working for free, but it's an example of what he's talking about. Years and years ago. See, I was one of the youngest people, and I'm not bragging here. It's just what it is. It is what it is. I'm still dumber than most people, if that helps. I was 19 when I got my contractor's license, which is pretty young to get your contractor's license in the state of North Carolina. One of the youngest probably ever done it. Not special, just what happened. At the time when I got my contractor's license, someone who had their contractor's license that worked for another company probably made, even back then in the late 1990s, probably $20 an hour. I would think somewhere in that area. I made $12 an hour or $11.50, something like that, because I worked for my father. And my father knew I wasn't going anywhere, and therefore I made less money than I was actually worth. But I was too dumb to realize I was worth more money, and I wouldn't have done anything about it if I did realize it. I mean, I was 19 years old. What am I going to do? Leave my father's company? Blood is thicker than money, I suppose. I wouldn't have done that. But I also wasn't paid what I would have been paid anywhere else because it's family. But because it's family, I have a job security you can't shake. You can't get rid of that. You're not getting fired. Again, unless you just don't want to work there or you do something horrible. I mean, you have to do something real, real bad. I mean, you have to be standing outside of a place with your hand on your hips when the fire truck arrives going, I didn't think it would happen like that. That's what's going to happen. So, man, that thing really blew up. Those two wires shouldn't have touched. Something like that. Or, so the gas was leaking. Something along those lines. But that's family business. That's family business. Hey, Garrett Rush, he said he got his contractor's license at 20. You're like an old man compared to me, Garrett. I'm just kidding. Jerry said he got fired like 10 times. I never got fired by my father. What happened with my family business association with my father, because, you know, a lot of you know had my own company for a decade. So obviously I wasn't working for my father. What happened is in 2008, the market crashed. For those of you who are young, the housing market crashed in 2008 because, well, it's a long story, but I think The Big Short's a great movie. Watch The Big Short. Does a lot for explaining it. And there's another one. I don't remember what it's called, but it has, oh my gosh, it's a great movie too. But they're both about the collapsing housing market. It really gives some insight into it. And business was primarily new construction before that. And there was all these people building all these high dollar spec houses. Spec houses being houses that are built for no one in particular, only to put on the market and then sell. Because stuff was selling everywhere and for a ton of money. There was all these little bitty craftsman style houses we were doing at the time. They were selling for $350,000, $400,000 back 15 years ago. And 5 years after that, they would have been sold for half of that because the market collapsed in 2008 and all that business just stopped. It just froze in time right there and it was gone. So we had to switch from doing that sort of business to doing change outs and doing service work. And at that time, I wasn't doing much service work. I was doing some of the startups and stuff like that, but I wasn't doing a whole lot in that area. I was doing mainly installs. So all of a sudden, we're service techs, learning the hard way, making mistakes and everything, which is fine. That's okay. I started reading a little bit more. At that time was when I really got fired up about reading and learning about HVAC. So it was a good thing in that area. And then we were doing changeouts. And changeouts are great for just learning commissioning, learning service work, because changeouts are always different and weird. It's not designed from zero. You got to start in the middle because a lot of times you're using the ductwork that's already there. So it's interesting to learn about how equipment reacts in different situations, which was good. But in that instance, once we switched like that, my father said, well, we're going to form 3 separate companies. So he didn't have to pay certain taxes, like payroll taxes. We were going to be like subcontractors. And I guess this was the idea to kind of save the bottom line and keep the company going. And I didn't know the difference. So I started my own company. It was called Town and Country Air. And the first year I just worked for my father and did a few jobs on my own. But by 2 or 3 years later, I was working all the way on my own. I was doing my own change outs, my own jobs and service work predominantly. So it just naturally grew because I had that desire to grow and do stuff on my own. I like the fact that I was the only one accountable and I could do things the way I wanted to do them. It wasn't always good. You had to deal with some of the shortcomings and some of the problems that rose up, but I loved having my own company. I thought it was great. I thought it was great knowing the people that I dealt with and having them say, oh yeah, Zach did a great job most of the time. And then, every now and then there was someone who had a problem with you because maybe you screwed up, and I did screw up. It just happened. It happens every now and then, and sometimes more. Sometimes it happens, a couple times in a row, getting a rut. But I enjoyed that, and I did that all the way up until I started the podcast in 2017. I was still running the company, and I only started the podcast because it became a necessity just to transition more out of the field so I could help care for some of the family members, some of the issues we were having at the house. And then the podcast did the same thing. It grew. It expanded because I'm not doing something half-butt. I try to do it as best I can, and the podcast grew. And I love doing it now. I love doing it. Here I am talking to you guys. I love it. I love getting back in the field and doing stuff too, but, podcast is life now. So it's It's interesting. It's interesting how things progress. It all started with a family business decision, or I would never have been here. There are certain moments that lead us to where we're going to go, and it's just interesting looking back. It's like, what happened to my plan? What happened to my plan to graduate college and be a professor of history? That's right, a professor of history because I love history. What happened to that? All of a sudden, my father was in the car with me one day in between first year and second year of college going, do you want to just come work for me? And I looked at him and said, yeah, that's what I'll do. And then my father says, let's form our own companies. And I said, okay. I took it seriously. I formed a corporation and I was off and running. I was the only one who did that. My brother didn't form a corporation. He just did a sole proprietorship. And let's talk about the differences there. The difference between a sole proprietorship and a corporation is corporation has a lot of different liability protections. The sole proprietorship doesn't. Even though the financial record keeping is less rigorous for a sole proprietor, and what I mean by that is sole proprietors, their personal money and business money can mix somewhat, and it's okay. But with an LLC or a corporation, S Corp, I think I was actually an S Corp, with that, you have to keep a lot more detailed records about where your money goes. So it's harder to run that business from an administrative side. And since we were one-man businesses, that really makes it much harder. But having that protection, so when something happens, let's say something bad happens on a job, someone sues you, they're not taking your house, your livelihood away, your home. They can't do that because you have liability protection. And of course, we have insurances as well. And I'm not going to talk about the insurances because, believe it or not, that comes up on the skilled trade up, so I'm not going to mention that. Garrett Rush says, we run an S Corp but have an LLC. King Tizzle. Man, I like your name, King Tizzle. I just got my EPA Universal. I work for my dad and uncle. I work for an HVAC company full-time also. So you have two jobs. I also have my EPA Universal. I was thinking, like, why would we just get one of those? It's not that hard to get all four of them. I guess I forget what they're called, like 1, 2, 3, and I forget. But it's not hard to get them all. If you're going to study for one, you might as well study for all of them and get them all, and then you can do whatever you want with the EPA stuff. Sam Andrews says, too big to fail, which he's referring back to the housing market collapsing. And that's essentially what happened to these big banks. The big banks, in my opinion, to put it plainly, they kind of screwed over everybody but themselves, and it caused a collapse. And I cannot remember the name of the movie, but it sums it up perfectly. Guys, Core, there you go. There's the different ones. Core 1, 2, and 3. If someone can remember the name of the movie that Kevin Spacey is in, I think Jeremy Ironside's in the movie, and the guys are selling all the MBS products that are on the market so their company doesn't go belly up, and it's like the beginning of the housing market failure. If someone can remember that, I would love to hear that so people could watch it, or just for my satisfaction, I guess. That would be great. I just hate it. I can't remember it. It's such a good movie, too. But The Big Short's a good movie, too. If you're kind of curious about what I'm talking about, watch The Big Short. You'll see these guys who actually shorted mortgage bonds. Mortgage bonds are supposed to be like ironclad. But since the housing market was full of people that got mortgages on these like 5-in-1 arms and stuff like that, these mortgages that would reset after 5 years and the interest rate would go skyrocket and the mortgage payment would like double and triple. A lot of people had these mortgages. And when that 5 years came up, they were defaulting on all the mortgages. So the mortgage bonds were collapsing. So these guys figured it out and they started shorting, which is basically betting that those bonds are going to fail. And when they started to fail, they had to pay those guys out. And it was a substantial amount of money. And those guys got very rich, but they did have to bet on the failure of the market. It's wild. Man, no one knows the name of this movie? All right, I'll have to look it up later. Kevin Spacey. It's like money something. The money pit fits. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, because I know I don't have much time left because my son's call is going to come in about half an hour. So if you guys want to play Skilled Trade Up, we can go ahead and do that. I hate it. Margin Call. Thank you, Frylock. That is the name of the movie. It's Margin Call. It is a great movie. And I enjoyed watching it. Learning about this stuff was fascinating because I lived through the negatives of this whole era. So knowing what led up to the financial collapse was very enlightening to me. Just seeing, it's like big corporations to me are like government. They are just soulless, cold droids. God bless small business. That's what I say. God bless small business. And yes, You do have my back, Bimco. Thank you. Nathaniel Crumb said margin call. I'm just thinking that he copied Bimco. So, okay, I'm kidding. Yeah, Sam Andrews right. That's a thing from the movie. It says in Florida strippers were buying 5 to 10 properties. That was directly from that Big Short movie, because these ladies had a lot of cash, obviously. So they would buy all these houses, and then all the different loans would reset after however many years, 3 or 5 or whatever it was set up for, and then they would default on the houses. So Jerry Lockhart, Enron, I think even came before that. I think Enron was 2001 or 2, wasn't it earlier than that? But yeah, we had all those banks that Bear Stearns, like a Citibank. There's a few of them. Morgan Stanley, I can't remember all their names, but I'm not going to go over that right now. Let's play some skilled trade up, because I don't want to run out of time. I want at least one person to come in here and play. Here's what we're going to do, and it's funny. We got funny chatters out there, guys. It's funny to watch them. So I'm going to take a break here, play the sponsors. I'm going to put the link in the chat, so whoever wants to play can come in here. We'll do some Google random number generator and find us a person to play. Hopefully somebody can win that fat Bed Bath & Beyond gift certificate. I'm just kidding. True Tech Tools gift certificate, or whatever you want it to be, really. It's a gift certificate. Whatever the Dollar General has when I go there. I'm just kidding. It's electronic. All right. So here's the break right here. I'm going to play the sponsorship bit, and then I might play the little skilled trade up intro, just so I have a little bit extra time to put everything up there. And then I'll see you guys here on the flip side. Company Cam is the only app every contractor needs. Document your jobs, communicate with your crews, cover your company's butt. Every photo and video taken with Company Cam is always attached to a project, geotagged, date and time stamped, and user attributed. With Company Cam, you can impress your customers by showing them real-time progress, give them a full scope of your work, and show the proof at the times when you need to. Company Cam is also compatible with many, many different integrations, including apps like Jobber and House Call Pro. You can try Company Cam for free for 14 days, so head over to companycam.com to learn more. Our sponsor, NAVAC, is running a promotion from May the 1st all the way till September 30th of this year, and when you purchase a qualifying vacuum pump, you get 2 free products. You choose 2 out of the following 3. The NHB1 3/8 inch to 1/4 inch evacuation hose, the NHB2, the 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch evacuation hose, or the NVR1 core remover. So there's 2 really nice free items every time you get one of the qualifying vacuum pumps. You can find out more at NAVAC Global, and you can purchase these things at TrueTechTools.com, but use our Shop Talk discount code if you purchase from TrueTech to save 8%. Workwithyourhands.com is a web page that hooks up people looking for jobs with great trade jobs. On the screen right now, I just have a few of the positions available in Durham, North Carolina. Service technicians, HVAC installers, there's some plumbing stuff, electrical stuff. Pretty much all the different skilled trades. Jobs are open all across the nation, and there's no reason not to take a look if you're looking to make a move. It's workwithyourhands.com, and you can find links in the description of this video to your next job. This program is brought to you by Yellow Jacket, and this is the Yellow Jacket Wireless Refrigerant Charging Scale, part number 68864. Has a 220-pound capacity, a large platform. It's easy to carry, has a handle built in. I've been using this one for a while. Bluetooth connection. There's no screens on it. You just turn it on. It links up to your phone, and you can watch it from the YJack View app. A really nice and very durable scale. This is the 68864 Wireless Refrigerant Charging Scale from Yellow Jacket. All right, all right, all right. So there's a few people down there. That was a movie reference, everybody. Dazed and Confused. One of the greatest films ever made. I think it was Oliver Stone. Might have been Oliver Stone. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Okay, let's play some skill trade up. We have 5 dudes down there. We have some. Wait, nope, there's a 6th dude. I think Micron Mark. You must be the same as Magic Mark. You look the same. You must be the same guy. It's quite possible. All right, there's 6 dudes down there, so I'm going to go over to the Google, and I'm going to type in 6 here. I'll show you guys that are watching. Watching here at home. I got to go back to the other screen real quick, though. We're going to pick somebody. Number 1 will be Will. Justice for All got in here first. What a shocking thing that is. His internet's faster. He just piped directly to my house somehow. I got to go outside and look for a cord laying in the yard or something. Gerald Lockhart, he's number 2. Nate Crum, you're number 3. Tom M, you're number 4. Joe M, you must be brothers. You're number 5. And then Magic Mark, you are number 6. So we're going to use the random number generator to pick someone to go first because of our huge internet discrepancies. I thought it was the fairest thing to do. So I'm going to go over to the other screen for those of you who are watching here at home. Let's see. There we are. And picking 1 through 6, our first person will be number 1. It's Will. That's hilarious. Oh, you guys are like, you son of a gun. All right. Okay, you guys all cross your finger. Wait for him to crash and burn so you can go because we'll do the same thing again. Unbelievably so, it's Will.
Hey, Zach.
How you doing? How is it you get in here anyway?
Man, didn't I tell you I got that new Starlink and I got it hooked up directly to your house?
You have it hooked up directly to my house. You must be covered in rabbit's feet and 4-leaf clovers or something like that. But, I mean, here we go. We're ready to play. At least I don't have to explain the rules.
That's true.
Nice. If you don't remember the rules, I mean, you shouldn't have come back here if you don't remember the rules. But, all right, I'm going to tell everybody that's watching, we got 2 lifelines here. I will be adding a 3rd lifeline come Sunday. I already have it in my head. It was confirmed by BIMCO to be a good idea. So if it's not, blame BIMCO. So the number 1 lifeline is a 50-50. I'll remove 2 wrong answers to give you a 50-50 shot. The number 2 lifeline, you can use both of these, by the way. Ask the chat. The chat will be opened up, and I'll put a poll up. They can vote on it, and we'll see. They're usually pretty accurate with their stuff. And how we're playing tonight is you can win up to $250 gift certificate to, let's see, what's a great place to win a gift certificate to? Yankee Candle Company? Yankee Candle Company, something like that maybe? I don't know. Victoria's Secret, whatever you guys want, really. I suggest True Tech Tools, so you can type in my code, but I could care less if you want to pick something else. 10 questions. 10 questions to get there. It starts with the gimme question. You ready to get started?
Sure.
All right, we got to be expeditious because I got about 10, 15 minutes. We got to tear through this. If we get halfway through, you're still going, I'll just bring you back on Sunday. We'll pick up where we left off, okay?
Sounds
we can do
good.
that. We have the technology. So let's start with the gimme question. It's the easy one, ultra easy. Here we go. Oh, I've got to turn off the chat, but it won't matter for this one. These devices are furnaces that burn natural gas for home heating purposes. A, a Ford Escape. B, gas furnace. C, monkeypox. D, my car makes a funny noise when I turn. It's unrelated.
B, gas furnace.
Oh, man. You know what? That's exactly right. It is a gas furnace. How'd you get it? You cunning devil.
I didn't work on too damn many of them up in this damn area of Kansas.
Your Ford Escape? The gas furnace, right? Maybe both. Maybe both. Maybe both. All right, now that we're into the actual questions, I'm going to turn the chat off. So bye-bye, chat. Sorry, see you later. Lifeline will be back for you in a minute. All right, so we're going to go to the first question. We're going to be expeditious here. This is an easy question, and you have your 2 lifelines, so good luck here. A compressor with an ohm reading of blank ohms between the windings and shell would trip the breaker. A, 100 ohms. B, 10 million ohms. C, 100 million ohms. Or D, none of these.
D, none of these.
Is that your final answer?
100 ohms are getting close.
100 ohms between the windings and the shell. Would that trip the breaker?
Yeah, it could. So let's go A.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you changed your mind, because 100 is definitely going to trip that breaker. I got to see personally how 4,500 will trip the breaker, and then a little bit over that will trip the breaker. When you get up to mega ohms, you're usually pretty safe. Even though the subcode reads red, you're still okay down to about 1 mega ohm or below, I think. That's why the subcode's bad, everybody. I'm sorry. All right, let's move on. You've already won yourself $40. You're going for $50. We're trying to win this whole thing in the next 10 minutes. Might be hard. Let's give it a shot. Which of the following duct systems consists of a central supply plenum and branch runs? A. A spider system. B. Perimeter systems. C. Reducing trunk. D. Flexing boxes.
A, spider system, or at least that's what we call them up here.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, sir.
Well, what you guys call them up there is exactly right. It's a spider system, and it's straight out of Manual D. That's one of the funniest things about Manual D. People say, this ain't a real system. Yep, it's in the book, and they drew it in there, and you could use it. All right, so you got yourself 50.
We had a lot of the old coal burners that were converted to gas furnaces, and they wrap them with sheet metal around them, and then just take runs off to every room from there, and that's how they got their name up here. They look like a giant spider sitting in the middle of somebody's basement.
You know, you're exactly right. We had I remember one in particular where there was a gas furnace with an A coil with the metal built around it, and like it was a huge house, but these suckers were running to every corner from that central plenum. It was wild.
Yep.
Yeah. It's an older style, really, but it's still there.
Oh yeah.
So you got $50. You could have $60. You want to get it?
Let's go for it.
So you're not going to stop, are you?
Heck no. What?
All right.
Well, if I crash and burn, I'm just keeping my record up.
I like that. Meet the expectation. Meet the expectation. I like it. All right. This is your final easy question. You have both your lifelines. This brand is known for its high static systems. A. Goodman. B. Unico. C. Train. D. Water furnace.
Problem is, I don't work with trains, but from what I know of them, they do have a high static pressure. So I'm going to have to go with C, train. Because I know water furnace doesn't. Unico, I know nothing about. Goodman's, they're not so bad on high static pressure.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
I tell you what, the key to this question is the word this brand is known for high static systems. That means that is what they are known for, and what brand that is actually
No, God, please,
Unico.
No.
Unico builds high static systems specifically. So that's
yeah, I crashed and burned.
You're a man of your word, at least there, and then you'll be back again because if you appear again, you will play this game. That's what I've learned. If you are in the chat, you will be in the seat here.
Yep.
Well,
hey, got to give me E for effort at least.
I gave you an A for effort. Yeah, I give your internet a double A plus. But all right, let me get someone else in here because we got like 5 minutes left. I'll see how far they can get.
All right, see you later, Zach.
Thanks, Will. I appreciate it. Man, all right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people still there. All right, let's go back to the Google. I'm going to go back so I can do it fairly. That's what I say, do it fairly. We have number 1 is Gerald, number 2 is Nate, number 3 is Tom, number 4 is Joe, and number 5 is going to be Magic Mark or Micron Mark, depending on what day it is. So we're going to go with 1 out of 5 there, and we're going to generate, and we're going to be 4. So Joe M., it's your time now. Joe M., as we recall from the past, Joe M. once played this game, and he lost, but he could win today. What's up, man? Oh, man, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Just trying to stay hydrated with this heat.
So where are you located?
Central Texas, Austin, Texas, to be exact.
Oh, man. Last time I know I have some friends from Texas. One of those is Michael Bimko, who's in the chat, and he put like the weather report up, and every day it was like 104, 103. It's like,
yeah,
do
got
you
to like 104 on the roof I was at today.
No good, man. I hope you have the hat with the fan in it.
No, I just got a regular hat.
I don't think a lot of people have the hat with a fan in it, and I'm looking down because I'm gonna set a timer to remind me.
My coworker's the one that has the fan with the hat.
Oh,
West.
so he does have the hat. Oh, okay, all
Yeah,
right.
West does.
Oh yeah, because I got a video I'm gonna try to do on Sunday because they put it up on Discord, and I'm gonna try to move it over here so we can see the hat in action. I think it'll be great. And also, I'm very curious because there's evidently, the private chat is talking to each other. Hey, the guy who's playing can see that, right? If you give him the answer, he's gonna keep on going. Hey, but the private chat, you were correct. It was Unico. It was pretty good. All right, so you know how the game is played. We're gonna start with the gimme questions worth $20, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
All right.
Here we go. Here's your first question, the gimme, and here it is. These systems carry conditioned air to specific areas in a structure. A. Solar systems. B. Septic systems. C. The duct system. Or D. Your nervous system.
C. Final answer.
Final answer, man. You're right. You're right. But you got to admit, though, whenever you're like answering the gimme question, you're probably like, party's like, I need to make sure this is right because this is supposed to be the gimme. And I can't die on this hill. All right, but you got it right. You got $20. I'm just going to assume you're going to keep going.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're going to get to that second question. It's an easy question, and here it is for $40. Which residential HVAC component is often filled with castor oil? A. Start capacitors. B. Run capacitors. C. Transformer. Or D. TXV bulb.
We'll go with A.
Which one are you going with?
A.
A. Start capacitors.
Yes.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, final answer.
He was wincing for a second, and I wish he winced a little longer because it's actually run capacitors. Run capacitors. Start capacitors because they tend to blow up anyway. You can see that there's pretty much, it's kind of empty inside there, except for a few little things. But the run capacitors are filled with oil to dissipate heat because they're in the circuit all the time. So they have to be filled with the oil, or else they'd like they do anyway, really.
Yeah.
Nothing really stops that, I guess. But that's okay. That's all right. Guys, it's actually a stopping point for me anyway. I have to go in there. My son's going to call me anyway. So the rest of you, Micron Mark, I'm sorry. Tom M, I'm sorry. And then Gerald, please come back on Sunday. And I'll sweeten the pot a little bit because we were cut short tonight. I'll add a little something special to the skilled trade-up to make it worth everybody's while, okay? So that sounds good, right? That's nice. He disappeared. He disappeared off the screen. I didn't do that. He just left. So I have to get out of here too. And I'm going to say thank you to everybody. And I had a couple things I was going to talk about tonight, but I'll save it for Sunday night. We had some funny stuff. And then I'm trying out a new application for my phone that one of you guys actually suggested. And I'll report back if it worked. I tried it today, but it takes a couple days for it to take effect. So I will let you guys know. Be back Sunday night, 9 p.m. And like I said, I'll have to sweeten the pot a little bit because I hate being cut short. I hate being rushed. Even though it's a worthy cause to stop and go in there, I don't like it. I don't like it. I like to have a 1 hour show, and I'm just like that. Hey, anal, whatever you want to call it, whatever. It's all good. Come back Sunday night. I'll be happy to see you guys. Play a little bit more skill trade up. We're going to get a winner. Somebody's got to come in and win this game. I see Gerald down there. Gerald was down there saying that he was going to win this game. So, Gerald, I expect you to be there Sunday, and I want you to win whatever you do. Whether you stop or don't stop, I want you to win. Chat, I'm not going to turn you back on because we don't have time tonight. Sorry about that. And I hate to rush you like that. I know we like to talk back and forth. Just won't be able to do it tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and step out of here. But I'm going to leave you with the same thing that I did the other day. I'll leave you with my fantastic Mr. Cool advertisement. And I hope you guys enjoy it. If you don't trust your contractor and you think you can do it all yourself, Mr. Cool is here for you. But you say, man, I don't own a tool. Don't worry, it's Mr. Cool. It plugs together and you're done. Well, the first step is Mr. Cool needs to hire a pretty girl to tell you all that you can do this job no matter how inept you are at mechanical abilities. If you're the kind of person that can't put batteries in the remote correctly, they've assured you that you can do this complex HVAC task. And just to help out, we got ourselves a solid 6 or above to let you know that you are good to go. And have no fret, all the tools you'll need are a stud finder, drill, level, 3.5-inch hole saw, adjustable wrench. Most of those you can get in the toolbox that's pink colored at Walmart. And no, C-3PO is not getting a circumcision in this picture. It's just Mr. Cool's patented AccuSuck line set that sucks itself together and makes sure no moisture is in the system. And looky there, all those T-handles you had laying in your garage for all these years, you never used them, they were just getting rusty inside of a box, inside of a different box, you can finally break them out and feel like a man. And don't forget to use top quality tools like bona fide and certified Mr. Cool contractors. Once you complete all these steps, you'll have yourself a fantastic Mr. Cool install, but just don't ask that one question. What do I do with the line set? Hey, oh look, Dad, I have made a loop-de-loop. Do you think old P.O.E. will like it like I do? Do. Thank you, Mr. Cool. Thank you, Mr. Cool. Thank you, Amazon. Thank you, Mr. Cool.